Yo, you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, here with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
How you doing, brother?
I'm maintaining, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I'm doing good. You know
there you go.
I'm doing good. I feel like maintaining is like
it can still be perspective.
Like leveled.
It can still be perspective, yeah.
I feel like things are getting better. You know what I'm saying? Like things are improving, you know what I'm saying? From energy to perspective to outlook, you know what I'm saying? Just everything all around is getting better. So I'm doing good. Definitely
That's
feel
good,
like that.
Man.
How you feeling?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm excited to get back into the Boss Talk. This is the first one of the season 2024. So, we do have a selective group in our subscribers and followers that really enjoy these conversations. I know we do. That's why we have them. So, definitely excited about that, man. But we got a lot of conversations to cover. We got to get into the Snoop and Master P situation with suing Walmart. These are two huge household names. And like I was explaining to you, talking about it, is it's like these aren't just like small business owners. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, so it's Snoop and Master P, and they're suing Post Foods and Walmart.
And Walmart, yeah. Thanks for the correction.
So it's when you look at it like that, it's like while Master P and Snoop are both superstars or celebrities, I should say. I feel like Snoop would be more on the superstar side just because of the age demographic he has touched, he has reached. You know what I'm saying? Like we was discussing at one point, like he is kind of like a global household name. Like everybody's familiar with Snoop.
Right.
Everybody knows who Snoop is, and I mean everybody is also familiar with Walmart and I mean, if you ever had cereal, you know who Post Foods is. Like, like there's no way getting around that. I mean, they do other things, but it seems like
they really posted up in the cereal market.
Yeah, they definitely are dominating in that aspect. So, it's interesting when you get into the specifics of it. And what happened is, I mean, for those who don't know, Master P does have like I don't know if you call it a food brand, a line. He produces food, you know what I'm saying? So I guess he has a brand, I guess you could say. Him and Snoop Dogg collaborated on a cereal. I'm not sure of the name. Let's see if I can Snoop cereal. I'm trying to figure out the name for it. Do you remember the name, bro?
I don't remember the name, but I feel like it had Snoop in it.
Yeah, like Snoop's Loops or something like that, man.
Let me not be lazy and see if I can look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure
it's just called Snoop cereal.
Okay.
It's called Snoop cereal. Fruity Hoops with marshmallows. Okay. Snoop cereal. So, when they went to Post, because as we just discussed, they are the dominant force in cereal, they were looking for, I guess you could say, a distribution deal and placement in stores because, like, they have a stronghold on that. And Post tried to outright buy the cereal.
No.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Snoop and Master P was saying, because it's like, part of the reason that we have put this cereal together is to not only...
They really trying to have a monopoly over the cereal, man.
Right, and they're like, nah, we're trying to put this in place so that they can see that you can do things, and then we could be able to pass this on. If we sell it to you in full, we lose ownership. This is something that if it does well, we're not even in a position to pass it down and keep it in the family type thing, right. And help provide jobs and opportunities for our people.
You trying to prevent us from doing what you do with your culture and your, you know what I'm saying, and your legacy. But this nothing new under the sun as far as in why. It's just crazy that, we've had a lot of conversations here where we talk about like gatekeeping and click, people clicked up and stuff, but there really is levels to it.
Right, bro. So, all right. And Brodus Foods is the business over the cereal. And as people know, Snoop's last name is Brodus.
Right.
So Brodus Foods, they signed a contract with Post to take over all aspects of production for Snoop cereal, including manufacturing, packaging, retail sales, distribution, and transportation. So this is the agreement that they entered into. They will split profits for the cereal as well, of course, which makes sense. So basically what happened is they weren't putting it on the shelves, bro.
Yeah.
It's almost like they were instructing Walmart and other businesses to not put it out in so many words.
Yep.
You know
And
what I'm
then
saying?
telling customers that it's sold out when
Yeah, there
the
wasn't
inventory is.
any. And then it was like I remember Snoop talking about. He was like that. Some people came in, and at first, initially, when it was on shelves, it sold well. It sold well, and then out of nowhere,
Now it makes sense why they got pulled.
There was a shift where it was like they kept it in the back, and somebody came in looking for it, and that's like, oh, we don't have it. We're sold out. We don't have any. And then same person who inquired came back and was like, yeah, I'm a part of Brothers Foods. I need to see how much stock you have with such and such. And they took him to the back, and there was boxes of it. He was like, not like 12 boxes, like
pallets.
Boxes of, yeah, and it was marked no location. So you know how things go because you deal in stock and moving things around and whatnot. Everything has a specific location, a specific number, and what that means is it's put here, it's put on this shelf in this aisle with these and like this because they are like products, like items. So with it not having a location, that means that there was nowhere to put it, and this was intentional in an attempt to limit and ultimately affect and knock the cereal off the market.
You know what I'm curious if they did, because we live in the digital age, how, we do Instacart and DoorDash, what it showed on the apps. I'm wondering if they did their homework there and they said, you know what, let me try to order some of my product from these locations online and see what it says. Because, when things are, when they're not in location, that means from my line of work of working in the food industry and having all those different experiences with, shipping and receiving and stock and inventory, right? If it's not in location, then that means that there's a possibility that you can't even put an order out for it, because there's a process from the salesperson, CSR, if you want to say. They have to go in, say, Jelani's Groceries wants some of the cereal. So Jelani's Groceries puts in an order at Brodus Foods, right? So then my sales rep has to come in and say, all right, let me look in the system, look at our inventory, and then we can let Jelani's Groceries know how many we have available. Then we allocate it for an order. Then our warehouse does what? They pull the order, prepare it for shipping and everything like that. So if there's no location for it, then that means it's a possibility in Walmart system and all these store systems that it's not even showing. You know what I mean?
So look, this is cited in a lawsuit. 200 boxes of Snoop cereal had been at a Walmart for months and were never placed in the cereal aisle. It consistently showed that Walmart stores consistently showed that they did not have Snoop cereal in stock, and online it showed that it could not be purchased, like you just said.
Yep.
So basically, you couldn't buy it in store, you couldn't buy it online, but only to actually show up to a store physically, going to the stock room and seeing that they had boxes of the cereal just sitting there labeled no location. Some of the claims in the lawsuit include breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty, negligent misrepresentation, fraud, collusion, and conspiracy.
Yep.
And like I said,
it sounds like it's going to be a settlement check coming.
Knowing who Snoop is, knowing the reach that he has, and then also having somebody back him like Master P, who has his foot in the door as far as like food goes.
Mm-hmm.
Because isn't what is it? I forgot what the chips are called. You know, the chips that have the rappers' names and the flavors and whatnot.
Rap snacks. Yeah, that's Master
right?
P.
Okay, so he has some experience and he has had some wins in that area. So
the chips are actually good.
You see what I'm saying?
The chips are actually good.
So him backing him is like there was a solid chance of the cereal actually doing well and reaching certain heights.
Mm-hmm.
And with it not being under post, they seen it as a threat. So in order to knock them off, kill them, that's what they did. They were in collusion
Monopoly,
with Walmart,
man.
To not put it on shelves and in the aisles and keep it from doing numbers. So ultimately it would fail. And then if it failed, they could either look to buy it out at that point, because since it's failed, you might as well go ahead or actually put them in a position to where nobody else would want to be in dealings with them because you don't have the numbers.
Monopoly. This is for you guys that don't understand. Most of us grew up playing the game Monopoly. And what a monopoly is when an entity basically controls a certain market that they're in to where nobody else can thrive or even compete. And I watched a documentary called "The Men That Build This Country," and it covered Cornelius Vanderbilt, it covered Andrew Carnegie, it covered J.D. Rockefeller.
I bet it did.
All of them, right? J.P. Morgan was the biggest. I didn't know that. J.P. Morgan was the biggest out of all of them. Was the biggest. I think they like shut down like the market or something like that when he died or something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And what happened to some of these great men, I say with air quotes, is that a lot of them went through even the automotive industry. The reason why Ford was why Ford was a big deal was because he was pretty much he was one of the first people to experience the gatekeeping, where they had like control. The board had control over the automotive industry to where he couldn't mass produce his car, and he had great vehicles that were blowing these other cars through the water. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I want to do something before you go any further. So we're going to give them the specific or definition.
Oh yeah. Go for that. Yeah.
The exclusive possession or control of the supply of or trade in a commodity or service.
Mm-hmm.
Exclusive possession or control.
That means you can't get any hoodies, any sweats, any shoes through nobody but kicks and sneakers.
Nothing. Anybody who wants to produce anything or make it happen, they gotta go through me.
And in our culture, we call that gatekeeping.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Definition for gatekeeping. The activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something.
Yep.
So now I have monopolized it to where I have exclusive control, and I'm gatekeeping by not letting anybody else have any access to it.
Yep. And I'm locking the gate. Straight up.
Throwing away the key.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
So what I was explaining about these men that built this country is where they ran into issues like with J.D. Rockefeller, because, the Rockefeller family, even, Jay-Z used the rock, inspired by him. He had a monopoly over the oil, bro.
Yeah.
So he kept dodging court and stuff like that because...
Was he dodging or paying off?
No, he was dodging.
Oh, okay.
He was dodging. And so what he ended up having to do is he had to sell, basically he had to break everything up. So that's when you see stuff like BP and all of these different oil industries. And he just turned right around and just bought majority stake and all of that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But he had to break it up because he had a monopoly over everything. And a lot of these billionaire families that we see generation after generation after generation have a monopoly over everything. And this is what a lot of up and coming entrepreneurs are running into. That's what Zuckerberg has went through with social media. That's what people try to come at Jeff Bezos about. Because I don't know if you watch, I watched a documentary on Amazon and how wild it is, how he was shutting things down from a book perspective. It started, remember, Amazon was a book company where you can, and so what he would do is basically state property, get down or lay down.
Get down or lay down.
So it's like, oh, you don't want to rock with us?
If you're not rocking with us, we're knocking you off.
Yeah, we're knocking you off. Your books aren't going to be able to get anywhere. Now, they were able to successfully do this stuff on a legal scale, but this is why.
And it's so crazy because there's supposed to be laws in a place for you to not be able to have a monopoly, but yet and still these bigger corporations
find a loophole. They find a smart lawyer. They have
it's all
teams
about
of lawyers.
It's all about loopholes. There's so many loopholes because of the way things are worded, right? Because of the way things are worded, and if you operate a certain way that is contrary to the way things are worded, then I'm saying it's a loophole. Like, because you can't do X, Y, and Z. Well, I didn't do X, Y, and Z. Right. I actually did A, B, and C. So.
I don't even like those letters.
Yeah, they were at the end. I'm trying to be at the beginning. So I did A, B, and C. And so with that, I caught a W.
Right. So what you think, man? Do you think, it definitely looks like Snoop and Master P have a solid case.
Oh, 100%.
Do you see you see these companies trying to settle?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because the thing about it is, with a lot of stuff, you look to settle so that it doesn't go to court, because once it goes to court, then they look at things the way you operate in the whole lot through a magnifying glass, right? And then more things will come into the light, more things can be revealed. So the best way to quiet a situation and to move past it is to settle things and get it out of the way. Like, okay, you brought a whole lawsuit. And then when you think about who it is and the giant that they are, they'll be able to reach a settlement, pay it off, and going about their business. You know what I'm saying? Like, the messed up part about it is now they will have to, like Snoop and Master P will have to find another way to go about distribution if they're looking to continue
I'm so
on in
glad
that
you
field.
brought that up, because I feel like that's the main issue that we have in business in this country alone. We don't have enough companies that are just straight distribution. Like, hey, you come here, it's made here. This is the agreement and the deal will cut you, so you're able to make a profit and we're able to get our money. Everything is overseas.
Well, true. But we also had a conversation about this, and it's about looking to get a seat at the table instead of building your own.
Yeah.
And so I
that's
feel
a
like
problem
Snoop
too.
and Master P are two individuals who are in position to be like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? You got this, P. I got Brodus Foods over here. Why don't we come together and invest in a way to go about building our own distribution setup?
Which
And
is
from that,
which
being
is
able to
Master
help.
P's like, that's like his whole background.
And then
is
on top,
self-made.
and then the whole thing about it, once you do that, right? Not only do you have your own, you are able to put other people on from the same culture of the same hue who are looking to do the same thing, because now you have an understanding of the hurdles that are
And everybody's going to come to you too.
that are in place, and that will only allow your business to grow.
Yep.
Right, and allow you to be able to move and allow others to grow, because ultimately this is what you want to do, right? You want to put people in position of the same hue and help our culture to get a foothold in certain places. So if you were to, you know what I'm saying, establish a distribution, production, company, business, building, and allow it to expand from there, then there's so many more opportunities you will have, you will create, and also a lot more resources you will create for others.
Creating them, like, for people like you, me and you, that have like a heavy experience in the warehouse background, the manufacturing background, and shipping, and all of these things. A lot of people that look like us would want to go there to work there.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot easier, because I hear a lot of entrepreneurs, I hear a lot of black celebrities say, man, it is hard, it is difficult. I mean, that's why, and it is, because that's why most large companies will just have, they'll buy another acquisition, they'll buy another company, because everything is already, foundation is already laid. You don't have to start brick by brick. But in this day and age, because of how difficult it is, it really is better to build your own table.
But it's only difficult because, like we were just discussing, the gatekeeping. See, the thing about it is, like, in order to get in, you got to fit in. And in order for you to fit in, you have to look like them. If you don't look like them, they see you as a threat in a couple of different ways. Either outgrowing or driving down the value.
Yeah, for sure.
Either way, it's not going to work for them.
No, it's not.
Because they're looking to keep a foothold on things so that they can maintain the monopoly that they've created. This is why gatekeeping is in place. So why even bother going that route? Why not just establish your own? And I know it's not easy as just saying that and then going to do it, because you have to make certain things happen.
You got to start somewhere.
But I feel like 100% also, once you are in a certain position, you have more resources.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? You're in a better position to open more doors for yourself.
For sure.
And then others. So, that's how I would be looking at it. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean,
whatever.
Like I said, Master P, his foundation is based off of doing it yourself. I mean, when he had that he said he had that conversation with C Murder when they were shopping around to different labels, and he said they was going to offer him $1 million. His brother told him to take it. And he was like, man, if they're willing to offer me $1 million, how much am I really worth? And I think we got to ask ourselves that question a whole lot more. Even when we've talked about conversations like the whole trying to buy BET back, you know what I mean? And there was even issues there. We'll say that for a later conversation with what was going on to them with ad space and stuff like that. But, just keeping the ball rolling, the more time goes on, the more you're seeing people speak out that are financially more successful than people like you and me, right?
Definitely more financially secure.
Yeah, for sure. And so, like, even when Monique was on Club Shay Shay, and I know that was a wild interview, there was a lot of mess going on, but there was some facts that she was kicking when she was talking about like how it is in the acting industry and in entertainment industry, when as far as in what you're offered, how you're treated, and things of that nature.
Well, you know who really shined a light on that in the first place?
Who?
Taraji.
Okay, this is what's interesting. So when she did that interview on Club Shay Shay, her and Taraji talked about it. Like she claimed, allegedly, they talked to have this conversation 15 years ago. And she said Taraji had a different outlook, like, we just got to push, we just got to grind, and this, that, and the other.
Well, and if that was the case, I could understand her having that outlook, because you say 15 years ago.
She was younger.
Just really getting into the game.
Looking
to really
did
start.
not know how much she was going to be worth later on.
And she was in the midst of grinding.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So to be new in the game and have an optimistic outlook on where things can go, and feeling like if I got my foot in the door, if I just continue to do the work, I will be in a better position. Like,
yeah, you just made the basketball team. That's how you look at it. Like, man, I finally made the team. And then after 20 games and you're not playing like that.
I wouldn't even say 20 games. I say 2 years of sitting on the bench.
Yeah, you like, wait a minute, what you got me on the team for? You know what I'm saying? But the interesting thing about what Monique was talking about is now there's a flip side to it. We talked about Post Foods and we talked about Walmart, two giants in the consumer business, right? As far as in food and as far as in retail. Now we're talking about our own that have built their own gate that can let people that, remember you said, that look like you into that gate. Mm-hmm. And now they're having those issues. You see what I'm saying? And so then it's like, we just talked about building our own table, right? So it's like, what? Now I got to build a side table. I got to build a sidebar table for myself instead of going to the people that look like me, because the folks that are in the industry that look like us, that are billionaires, that are in entertainment, in film and things of that nature, it's not a lot of us.
No. And I feel like the ones who are is something people are not really talking about, right? Make sure this is close. Those individuals had to play the game.
Yeah, they did.
In order to play the game,
did.
If you play the game, that means you have to fit in, right? You have to operate a certain way. You have to execute certain things. Mm-hmm. And then in the midst of that, while you're aligning yourself with these people who 9 times out of 10, because of the monopolies in place, don't look like you. Mm-hmm. In order for you to get in, you have to play the game and you have to operate a certain way. And that means that you're aligning yourself with them. A lot of times, once you align yourself with them, it's hard for you to let other people in, because then that compromises a lot of things that you have going on, the things that you tied to and the things that you built, right? Yeah. Because it's like, all right, we let a couple in, but all of y'all can't come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so it creates this situation where it's like, you either turn your back on what got you here, or you turn your back on your people. Right? Because I mean, like let's look at some of the individuals who are in position when you start talking about that B word, billionaire, that of our hue. They have either established their own and stand alone, or they're almost tethered to those people, those places, and those businesses that put them in position. Like, yeah, there's Jordan Brand, but without Nike, Jordan Brand didn't do well, so Jordan Brand went back to Nike.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's Oprah, and she has her own television. But I mean, when's the last time you watched something on the Oprah channel?
Nah.
But the thing about it is, like, it's not as popular as it should be, because she looked to separate herself, right?
Yeah.
And that didn't really fare well.
Another example. You don't have support from the machine.
Another example.
Very difficult.
Look at what Tyler Perry is doing now. Look at how he started off. He went from Broadway shows to movies, and the movies were doing well. Then he looked to build his own like whole movie studio, everything, create his own shows and everything. Is it
the biggest? That's all. I don't know if it's the biggest in the country, but it is bigger than Warner Brothers
in size.
Yeah, in size. Yeah. That's what I meant. In size, it is. Yes,
but I mean, like, all in the same breath, it's like you tried to separate yourself, and now you can't really see his shows unless they're on BET, and then he wasn't even allowed to buy BET. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just like, if you align yourself with these individuals and you stop dealing with them to build your own, that's fine. But it's almost like you're leaving the club.
Yeah.
And if you leave the club, you can't expect to have the same access that you did while you were in the club. You're no longer in the club.
Okay, there's two things here that I think a lot of the average people need to understand, mainly black folk. We need to understand. When we talk about the billionaires, which is only a handful of them, right? I want you guys to do your research on all the billionaires. Like, there's Tiger Woods, there's LeBron James, Michael Jordan. They're mostly in entertainment. And then you Oprah Winfrey, all of them, right? Tyler Perry. You'll notice that there's a 1.2, 2.2, and then when you go to other people, it's 50 billion, 100 billion, 300 billion, right? It's
big money.
Big money. Now, this is the crazy part. You see that gap. You see that stretch between the billionaires that we know of in our community and the ones that got the real billions. Now, we also got to pay attention to this. That's their worth. That doesn't mean that they have $1 billion in the bank. That's including assets, and maybe if they, it's including assets, period.
Give you an example of what he means by that. Kanye West was a billionaire until he had that fallout, and then he lost all his deals, he lost all his endorsements, he lost all his business dealings, and he was no longer a billionaire. Dropped into the millions.
Bro, the next day they said, yeah, we've done our assessment. And yeah, you're back on the millions, which is still doing pretty well.
100%. But he was a billion. He was worth $1 billion on paper because of the business dealings, because of things that he had in place, because of things that were ongoing and coming soon. And then after the issues, there was no more ongoing. There was nothing coming soon.
Right.
Things got canceled. People pulled deals, and all of a sudden, you went from 1.6 to 500 mil.
Right. And so the point that I make with bringing that up is sometimes I understand both sides. Sometimes I understand the side of the Moniques and the Tarajis that are like, yo, I'm out here getting played, and then I don't have a whole lot of options or a whole lot of support from my own that are in position. What's going on? This isn't cool. I feel like quitting, whatever the case is. And then I also understand the positions of the Oprahs and Tyler Perrys and people that are in the higher positions, not so much of empathy, but an understanding of like, hey, I know what Google told y'all, but what you got to understand, this is what I really have, which they're not going to disclose that, right? This is what I really have to work with. This is the staff that I have to pay and everything else. And I think that the reason why this is important is because we have there's always articles or pages online, right? That'll say, for example, Amazon made $1.3 trillion and didn't pay one nickel of taxes. But what they don't tell you is that Amazon could have 5,000 employees. And out of those 5,000, 2,500 are full time, which they have to pay benefits for all of them. And they're paying for overtime, and they're paying for vehicles. They're paying for fuel. They're paying for packaging. So building
insurance, worker insurance,
renting buildings or owning buildings. They own airlines. They have airspace at airports. They have a sort line. So when you look at all of the expenses, those are write-offs to where, why would I give up more money when I'm providing? And the other thing too is the government likes when you can do their job for them, like provide jobs and income and manufacturing and all that stuff. They will reward companies that are providing those things. That's why if you're a big business or in real estate, you're providing homes for people, you're providing businesses and jobs, they're going to reward that. With the tax break.
Now, with all that being said, you shouldn't be throwing shade.
True.
Right? Because in the midst of it, it was like, all right, Tyler Perry didn't help, whoop-de-whoop-whoop. But then on the backside, he threw dirt on your name. He threw shade. He put you in a position. We were talking about Monique. She wasn't able to secure a lot of deals because there was a stigma and a stereotype and a rumor that she was difficult to work with, and she didn't do this and she wasn't willing to do that, when a lot of that wasn't true. And so it's like, all right, if you're not going to help me, fine, but don't throw shade or put dirt on my name so that I can't benefit outside of not dealing with you, because you won't even deal with me.
And that's another part of gatekeeping that isn't brought up enough. Somebody just saying something about your reputation that's not true, and it affects everything. It affects your finances. It affects your business deals. But I do think in the same breath, when somebody is trying to make that rumor about you, and it continues to be perpetuated and it starts to snowball, that's when you really got to cross T's and dot I's with how you carry yourself. because any little thing you do at that point is going to validate what people are already trying to make of you that's not true.
100%. And I feel like, in that aspect, she was a little messy with how she went about things.
Nah, bro, she was really messy.
All right, I'll be trying to.
Because we got just like we got to point out Tyler Perry's behavior for actually, her and him and Oprah. It was my bad. It was Tyler Perry and Oprah that put that on her name, which is not cool. Somebody that looks like you, but you shouldn't do that to anybody.
100%. But the thing that made it worse is how you went on about these things and being messy. You know what I'm saying, with the interview, when you're stand up and all these other things, because you're not helping the rumors.
You're not.
At that point, there feels like there might have been some truth to it. So should they have said that? No. But how you're executing things does raise an eyebrow.
Yep.
And so, like you said, how you carry yourself, how you go about things, how you operate. And it's crazy because, like, all right, so if it wasn't true, and what's so wild is when things aren't true, people are more inclined to believe the negative than the positive. I mean, whether it's true or not. But somebody say something negative, they're like, I knew it, I believe it. Somebody say something positive, you be like, maybe.
That's what it was one
Possibly.
of the things that Shannon Sharp said his grandmother taught him. I thought was dope, and he said that his grandmother told him, never chase a lie.
Nah.
And I thought that's that down south grandma right there. But I respect that, because when you look at certain people that are still able to move regardless of what anybody says, like, I'll give you an example, and it might be funny to y'all, but it's a real example. We all seen Jay-Z get tagged in an elevator. Okay? And they didn't even react. I'm talking about Jay-Z, Solange, Beyonce didn't even react to what was written, speculation, all of that stuff. They just moved about their lives. Now, I'm pretty sure in private it was dealt with. There was a whole lot of stuff that we won't know until maybe 20, 30 years from now. But they did not react to the bait.
Well, the whole thing is this, right? You do not, whatever happened was a private matter, and a portion of it was seen through the public eye.
Yes.
You don't disclose whatever the private matter was. You disregard the rumors, and you keep things in house. You really don't address the negative or give it more energy or more life. See, a lot of times, no response is the best response.
Best response, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You don't want to give attention to something, especially something that's negative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? When people vibrate low, you continue to vibrate high. You don't drop down to that level to address things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think one of the things that Monique could have continued to do was, everybody kind of gave her a hard time about the Netflix situation, right? And she ended up being right. They ended up compensating her, and she did get what she wanted. Most people disagreed as far as in if she delivered. You know what I'm saying? As far as her special is concerned, but she was right as far as in the business dealings. That's how you get it done. You see what I'm saying? You get it done on a cultural level with us. Even though there is gatekeeping, there's a lot of hurdles that we got to hop over. We still have to conduct business in a business situation. So if you know that somebody is, and I say this with air quotes, trying to blackball you in whatever industry you're in, that's when you start doing your homework and your journalism, and you start getting this information together. And then now it's time to go to court. Now it's time to start suing for defamation. Now you're suing for damages and things of that nature. When we get online and we speak online and when we say things, it can be effective to a certain degree, but a certain crowd. But everybody else in business, they're sending cease and desist letters, and they're not playing with you. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do an interview. They're not going to call, it used to be Larry King. They're not going to get on Larry King and get on all these different platforms and drag you. They're just like, all right, I'm just going to hit you. I'm going to put the silencer on real quick, and I'm going to hit you like that. We're going to go to court.
But that's the thing about it. There's a way to handle and go about things that a lot of times works out better than the channels we choose to utilize. There's a much more efficient, cleaner way to go about things.
Heavy on the cleaner.
Being messy can convolute things, especially the underlying issue.
Yep.
And so you have to understand how to execute and move a certain way that allows you to retain your dignity,
Yeah.
right? Maintain the respect level, help you to control your energy and keep your peace.
Yep.
When you start getting messy, things start going down a negative route. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you start vibrating lower. And that's not where you want to be. That's
and you
not
want
what
people
you want.
outsmarting you too. If people know that you're easily triggered and you're going to be reactive, that, oh, you know what, this is what we're going to do. We're going to say this about such and such, and they're going to act out against it, even though it's not true, and they're going to prove our point. They're going to prove our rumor, because that's what they mean by, if you don't control your emotions, some other people will always be able to control you.
Yeah.
Through your emotions.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? So, that's one of the big things when we talk about, like, yeah, there's gatekeeping. Yeah, but you still got to try your best to keep your composure and conduct business.
Speaking of gatekeeping, and you mentioned Jay-Z and those things, how do you feel about what he said at the Grammys?
I feel like he was 100% right. It's just unfortunate that when Kanye did it, he got dragged.
Kanye did it the wrong way. It's all about execution. Remember, there's certain ways to go about things to maintain your dignity and move smooth. He didn't move smooth. If he would have did it,
Jay-Z was talking shit though.
oh, he was. But he also had the mic.
Yeah. That
The
is true.
attention-
Yes, yes.
the attention
that
was on
changes.
him.
Yeah, that does change everything. It was his
get
turn
what
to
I'm
talk,
saying?
and that's what he decided to say on his turn.
And
you're
so
right. You're right.
He did it the right way.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying what Kanye West said was wrong. It was all in the execution.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a way to do things.
Right.
He didn't do them the right way.
Yeah.
Jay-Z did.
Yeah, he did.
So when he calls out the Grammys and talk about how, this young lady has won all the awards except Album of the Year, how do you do that? How do you win video, single, choreography? Like how you win everything that says I had the best, and then you don't get
you win everything that
the
would
award.
classify us as a tap dancing Negro, except for it's because Album of the Year in that category or any category says you were pretty much the most influential in music of that moment.
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan of Beyonce. I'm not. Ain't no buzzing, ain't no beehive over here. But I will say,
Gotta acknowledge the
oh, bro,
Yeah.
like Renaissance. What?
even
It was everywhere. Every female was wearing shimmering stuff to go. Like it was such a movement.
she's the most influential artist right now. And the reason why I believe that, because I don't listen to Beyonce like that, but the influence in getting people to pay mortgage prices for your tickets, getting them to the club can't even get people to follow dress code. Okay? The club can, and you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, she just does not have this controversial reputation like a lot of artists end up having either at the beginning, the middle, or the twilight of their career. She pretty much
and you want to know why though? Any rumors or any BS, she disregards it. She handles things a certain way.
Exactly.
And most times she doesn't respond to it. Whatever you think,
she lets the team she hired deal with it.
She don't even have to, because the Beehive is going to defend her.
Another thing.
Crazy. Yeah, that's the influence.
Yes, that's the influence for sure.
And so it's just like, he was right in how,
and she showed class, because when Kanye did do what he did to Taylor Swift when she won her, because I think that was like her first Grammy or whatever the case it was. What did she do?
Bring out Taylor Swift
during her moment
and give her the mic.
During her moment.
Classy.
So she's shown a lot of class too. A lot of class. So yeah, I mean, I think what Jay-Z did was solid, but I'm gonna call Jay-Z to the front. You have enough power, influence, and capital to either invest into other awards, traditions that they have annually, and persuade your peers that are on your level to attend and contribute to those awards. The Grammys isn't great without the people involved in it, the people that show up to it, the anonymous voters, right?
The crazy thing is,
the
like,
television spots.
So this is what's so, like, I feel like, wasn't the Grammys for us and American Music Awards was for them?
I mean,
do we have to pull up, like,
Okay, so yeah, pull that up, and then I'll tell you why I'm hesitant on saying yes or no. So yeah, go ahead and pull that up because I already know you got the documentation. He's always got the documentation. Always got the document. I appreciate having the documentation. Sometimes I don't always have it. But yeah, pull that up, brother.
I'm definitely looking for it because I mean, like, if I'm not mistaken, that was for because American Music Awards. That just it just.
I mean, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I know that there's the biggest ones, if we're talking about music, is Grammys, American Music Awards, and then even the Country Music Awards is pretty huge too. You know what I'm saying? And but okay, while you're doing that, this is what I'll say. The reason why it's hard to say yes or no is because when you go all the way back to when hip hop was on the scene, right? And Will and Jazzy Jeff won the first Grammy for hip hop, and they protest because they didn't even want to televise it, right? But yet Will and Jazzy Jeff were clean enough to win the award, but not good enough to at least accept their award televised, which created that whole protest.
I feel like that pertained more to hip hop,
but that's literally ours. That's literally comes from the black.
You get no argument from
black
me.
Culture, and I think that even back then, right? That's why it was hard. That's why it's hard to be like, well, yes, because it's like if that was ours, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then hip hop is getting treated that way. You know what I'm saying? How much do we really feel like it's ours? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much do we really feel that way?
Yeah, and I'm not really finding any information that.
But I think you could also be. I think it also could be a mixed blend between that and the Oscars too.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like I remember the Grammys not being so whitewashed. I don't even know.
It was more cultural.
You see what I'm saying?
More. Yeah, you're right. It was more cultural.
And so that's why I feel like it was more for us.
Yeah, it was more cultural. But the thing is what our responsibilities are when we get into a position is to try to create different avenues. Like the BET Awards could have been that. But the problem with the BET Awards is we still got to conduct ourselves respectfully. You know what I'm saying? The BET
100%.
Awards is kind of like, remember what Art and Mall used to be versus what it is now? But the BET Awards wasn't taken serious enough. Right. And so I just think that when Jay-Z calling that out and him having all of those excellent points, Jay-Z, you are in position like a lot of people to say, you know what, we're going to either start contributing to the Image Awards, which I think is ran by, is it Byron Allen? I think he runs that, another billionaire, or we're going to create the such and such awards and we're going to have our own anonymous voters. And we're going to make sure that we encourage the biggest names to be in the house. Everybody from Jay-Z to Denzel, they used to really get at Jay-Z about never really showing up to the BET Awards. And I did feel a way about that. I understand that. But at the same time, y'all got to conduct yourselves better so that it is something that people know they have to be there. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not so much like make them be there, but it's like, yo, I can't miss this. I'm such and such. I can't miss something this big. Like people aren't missing, certain names aren't missing the Oscars. They're not missing the Grammys because of how big that the people involved have made it. And that's what has to happen.
And so when you say all of that, right? I just think about, it's kind of hard to build your own table when in that industry just because of the gatekeeping. Yeah. And then on top of that, think about some of the individuals that he's aligned with. Like, it would almost exclude him from that club.
Well, that's okay. So I'll tell you why I think that happens. And this is something that we've talked about in private, and this is something that I think needs to be talked about in public too. We can't black stamp everything. Some things can just be black without having to tell people, hey, you should support it because it's black. Right? So instead of saying, yo, you should come to this, plus it's black owned, just be black owned.
I mean, yeah.
Just be black owned.
But what I'm saying is,
and create that allure for people to come to you.
Like, I feel like it would almost be like the Snoop and Post Food situation where, you try to do something, and then the powers that are above you do what they can to null and void that.
Can always be a
saying?
anonymous donor to certain things. You can always say, hey, look, hey, check this out, Byron Allen. Look, we need to make the Image Awards huge. I don't need you giving me credibility in anything, but you let me know financially how I can contribute
a silent
to this.
Partner.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
There's so many ways to do it to where, and here's the thing, with the Image Awards, it is a lot of African Americans that are involved with it. Other people can compete and they can show up and they can get invites and they can win awards, but it's just not going to be so one-sided like you're used to seeing everywhere else.
I mean, on the same breath though, doing that, like, it's kind of crazy because of the status that comes with a Grammy. Right?
Yeah.
So then you say, okay, we do our own thing and we're over here and we're giving out this awards and this is how we're giving acknowledgement to certain people and whoop whoop. Like, all right, yeah, that's cool, that's dope. They got one of those. Did they get a Grammy?
Yeah, but while we're in a state of the culture where a lot of things don't hit the same, Grammys don't hit the same, and Oscars don't hit the same like it used to, and that's because year after year after year the game's being played, and then. Who did it take for people to start speaking out and looking at it differently? Some of the biggest names that we don't understand why they didn't win that year or that specific award, saying, you know what, this is BS. You know what, this isn't
reading
cool.
Something that said that a lot of people were like, Beyonce had won so many Grammys that they were just looking to place their votes elsewhere to give somebody else a chance to win, regardless of whether she deserved it and if she was, or rather she, like, yeah, okay, she did X, Y, and Z, but she always win, and I'm gonna go ahead and look to vote for somebody else.
I remember the year that Kanye did win, and he said, this is honestly Lil Wayne's award. My award was last year. This is his award. I mean, call the dude whatever you want to call the dude. There's a lot of things in this instance he was right, and this is the thing that everybody is seeing. At least if you guys are going to give awards, whether it's the Oscars, whether it's the Grammys, at least be smart enough to say, all right, well, why? Because we look at some people winning an award and it's like, man, I never even heard that song before. I never even seen that movie before. I didn't even see the commercial or advertising or marketing or anything. I didn't even hear it at the grocery store or Target or anywhere, but it was that big. I'm going to be real. I understand the level that Taylor Swift is on because I've seen this girl at certain points, whether it was in a commercial or whether it was here or whether it was there, but it'd be people that I've never heard of or ever seen. And it's like, they what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But when we have the conversation, we have the gatekeeping conversation, we have the conversation of understanding that there is a problem.
What's the haters in high positions? It's the problem.
But at the same time, my question, what is the proper solution then?
I don't even know, because you're like, oh, well, if we get more people of our human position, and I'll tell you like this, like, all right, let's talk about it closer to home for me.
Okay.
Dealing in sneakers, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of individuals who are of the same hue as me, who have finally got their foot in the door, who have access, who have made things happen, who aren't sharing that same love and opportunity for others. And I feel like it's crazy because you got into this position and it took you forever and you had to go over so many hurdles, right? Mm-hmm. And so now that you're in this position, a lot of times, you know how people feel? It took me so long to get here, so why should I just help somebody else out? And it's like, that's the type of mentality that messes us up, because now you're in that position and you're operating just like the same people who held you back for so long.
Or you're trying to be a false hero. Some people want to be the hero in everybody else's story, like they're the hero in their own story.
In order to do that, though, stop gatekeeping.
No. I said they want to be, not that they are. See, a wannabe is somebody that likes they want to give the perception. They like all the perks, but they don't really care about the work. And what I mean by that is, it's like, I'm the first black sneaker company that can compete with Nike, but I want to be the only, because I like the praise of what I'm doing, the charity I'm giving, the opportunities and the knowledge I'm giving, instead of saying, yeah, I'm on this level, but I need about 6 or 7 other people like me that can create their own way so we can come together. what a lot of people don't know about what I brought up earlier when I was talking about the men that built this country, a lot of them were connected too. A lot of them worked together, and they did deals and businesses. And
with the monopoly in place, it's not one person alone just over everything. No, it's a team.
Yep.
Conglomerate type. Right? So you have multiple individuals with the same understanding, with the same amount of power, with the same pull and push that are coming together to make something happen where it benefits all of them and nobody else.
And what people got to pay attention to, right? The average person, it's funny. We get on social media and we talk our shit about Android and iPhone, right? Android is better, iPhone is better, or PC is better, and Mac is better. But what you guys don't understand is, at the time before his death, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were cool. They were friends.
Bro, they've even shared game to help each other get
They've helped each other financially.
Yeah, it's not, because see, the whole thing about it is like, it's not, for them, it wasn't so much about competition as it was about progressing.
Yep. And they had an understanding because they spoke the same language. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, a lot of people talk about Warren Buffett, because how big he is and how he's made money. But he also had a boy who passed away, his partner who passed away, who was just as successful, Charlie Munger. The point is that if you notice the people higher up while you guys are trying to like gatekeep, the gatekeepers all share the same real estate. You see what I mean? And so while you're trying to crabs in a barrel, they're up there eating crab. Look at you guys being crabs in a barrel.
Well, because the thing about it is like you're looking to keep people out who look like you because of what it took for you to get in, and not understanding you need more people that look like you for you to not only be able to sustain, but also grow. Yep. And get bigger, do more, have more, be more. You need more people with the same understanding of your struggle, your goals.
Talk about it.
And what it took to get into position and what it's going to take to stay in position.
Yep. So building your own table is a lot more than just actually putting in the work as far as in supplies. You also got to build a network, and you guys have to actually be a network. You have to say, I need you to go. I can't help you, but this brother over here can.
It's easier to build a table when you got somebody holding up the top so you can, strengthen the legs.
Yep.
More stability.
There you go. I've heard the same concept with moving the couch. It's easy when it's two people.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Think about when you got a third person to hold the door. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought about that, like, man, that's way easier.
Right? Because, like, now you can just make moves and get through, and you have access.
Nah, y'all want to buy door stoppers.
Like, how stable are those? I've seen many doors closing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, whatever, man.
But no, that's real, dude. I think, like, out of everything that we're talking about, and all the different individuals and different topics, this all involves, a disagreement with somebody being in position of power, not letting you in for no reason, or giving you the illusion that they want to work with you, but finding every way to work against you. So how many times do we need to bump our heads, or how many times do we need to sue somebody or argue with somebody to get a little bit? Because when these people do settle out of court, that money is nothing to them. That money is not. It's an easy. Here you go. I pay more than what I gave you for a settlement than I do in I actually pay more than that donating. You know what I'm saying? So how long is it going to take for y'all? And the reason why I say y'all is because I already operate like that. I already operate like that with my peers and the people around me. And I would like to expand that circle, but I have to do my homework and due diligence and make sure that the intentions and the integrity is really there. The bottom line and your mission statement is aligned with what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go 10, 15 years from now.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why it may take me a little bit longer. It takes the average, the majority of the people that we know and what we've seen longer, because it's a different type of intention. I'm going to try to go around you and get worse service than what you can provide, or worse information than what you can provide, because I don't want to need you. And it's like, okay, go for it.
The crazy thing is we need each other.
Yeah.
The best.
More than ever right now.
Well, and the thing about it is, like, that's basically mutually beneficial relationships.
Right.
That's really what it is, right? Our relationship,
real business, by the way. That's
Yeah.
real. That's real business, guys. Where it's
100%.
mutual between
it
both
benefits
sides. That's
me,
real
It
business.
benefits you. It helps us both grow, progress. You feel me? Strengthen, sustain what it is we have going on.
Right.
And it's not about I need you because I could probably get it done somewhere else.
Right.
But I feel like in me dealing with you is going to be beneficial for me to a bigger output, or you know what I'm saying, like it's gonna be more beneficial in the long run for me to deal with you and vice versa, because of the understanding, because of possibly the mutual, you know what I'm saying, bottom line that we're both trying to, you know what I'm saying, things are aligned that we're not even aware of, but if we continue to do business, we'll start to come to the understanding of that, and that will not only strengthen what we do, but make things more beneficial and put us both in a position to make some things happen outside of what we already have
losing
going
a
on.
boxing match is a lot more hurtful than losing a Super Bowl. You know, you're by yourself. You understand? You're by yourself.
He only whooped your ass.
Yeah. But when you lose something as a team, you get to come back. You get to look at footage together. You get to figure out what we're going to do different, what moves we need to make, how much better we need to be, and you can uplift each other. When you lose by yourself,
but there's also more heads in the room to break things down, get different points of view, give different knowledge, insight, perception, help you gain a possibly
influence, all of that
understanding than what you had. When it's just you, after you get beat up, you're gonna beat yourself up because now you gotta try to go through everything. You're like, I could have did this, I could have did that, I should have did this, maybe I should. And then a lot of times, all of the stuff you're beating yourself up about, it wasn't even in any of them.
Right. Real talk, man.
It was something completely different that somebody on the outside saw looking in that you can see from the inside looking out.
Right. So I mean, before we get out of here, my message is y'all, because I'm already practicing this. All right. Y'all need to do a better job with working together and figuring out how you are going to build a sustainable table that multiple people can sit at. What's yours?
What's my what?
See?
Message?
Yeah, that's his message. You need to listen to what he said earlier.
I don't have a message, bro. Like I feel like everything was said. Like it's just like, and I mean, I understand wanting to make an attempt to sit at somebody else's table based on the fact that it's already built.
Right.
Just because it's already built doesn't mean there's enough chairs.
That's heavy. There you go.
You can't eat here. There's nowhere for you to sit.
Yep.
Build your own table.
Kiddie table's uncomfortable.
I mean, you build your own table, then you can choose who sits down to eat, right?
That's real talk.
You might want to sit down to eat with some people that's going to pass the food.
Just a little bit of game for y'all, and we got a lot more of this coming throughout the season, but we finna go ahead and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we thank you for tuning in to the Notion Podcast, Boss Talk, Dizzy D Spill, and Jelani as always. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, of course, with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
And until next time, peace.
I made that sweater, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
By hand.
Yup.
Cut and sew.
If you want to buy it, starting price is $5 G's.
It's 1 up 1.